Thanks for joining us on the news at 7. President Bola Tinubu and the 36 state governors have agreed to begin the conversation around the possibility of establishing state police and also increasing the numeric strength of forest rangers to complement and sustain the gains recorded by the armed forces and other security agencies. These are some of the resolutions reached at a meeting convened by President Tinubu to deliberate on better ways to ensure food security and improve the quality of life and livelihood. The president also ordered a clamp down on individuals and groups hoarding food items and other commodities, which is responsible for the soaring prices and high cost of living. TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde reports.
The meeting between President Bola Tinubu and the 36 state governors ended with critical resolutions that will provide solutions in the interim and in the future. The food crisis has piled pressure on governments at all levels and also threatens national security. Among several solutions thrown at ensuring food security, the federal government insists there are no plans to import food as Nigeria has the potential to feed itself.
The governors and Mr. President have taken this decision that security agencies will cooperate or collaborate with the state governors to ensure that this ends. Number two, a decision has also been taken that in the interest of our country, there will be no need for food importation at this point. Nigeria has the potential to feed itself and even be a next exporter of food items to other countries.
In considering a holistic approach to implementing the state of emergency declared in the agriculture sector by President Bola Tinubu in the early days of his administration, there seems to be a consensus on the need to establish state police and enhance the capacity of forest rangers to complement the efforts of conventional security agencies.
They have thanked Mr. President for all that he's doing, and they've also asked him to do more so that at the end of the day, we will have a completely secured Nigeria. Now, in this direction, Mr. President and the state governors have also discussed the possibility of improving the numeric strength of forest rangers. Now, there is also a discussion around the issue of state police. The federal government and the state governments are mulling the possibility of setting up state police.
As the days begin to count, the federal government must also double its efforts at ensuring food is available and affordable. It also must continue to guarantee the safety of lives and property. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
For more on the meeting, the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, joins me on the news at 7. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Well, federal government synergizing with state to ensure self-sufficiency in food production. But talk to us about the Commodity Board and what the government policy is really about this.
Well, I think let me start by saying that today's meeting was called by the president in view of what's going on in the country. People have been talking about food shortage or the high cost of food, which is impacting on the cost of living in the country. If you read the MBS report, food alone constitutes about some 33% of the inflation that people keep complaining about. So today's meeting was just to talk around the issue. The president was desirous in ensuring we have a multi-party consensus on the way forward. Don't forget that this is a federation. People sometimes miss the point by thinking that only the president can solve the nation's problems. He is not a magician. He cannot solely solve the problem. The other subnational groups, the states, the 6 states, including even the FCT, all of them, the 774 local councils, all of them have a role to play to solve this problem. Don't also forget that the federal government has no land anywhere. All the land of this country belongs to the states. It has 6 states and the FCT. So the government needed to bring everybody on board to be on the same page with them about the way forward. How do we grow more food so that we can feed our population? How do we ensure that the food prices crash so that people can be able to afford the food that is brought to the market? I think these are the issues that were really on the top of the agenda. And I want to say that all the governors, representatives of them, they spoke, and from the discussion, it was very, very clear that insecurity is one of the reasons why we are not having enough food, and for instance, farmers are afraid to go to the farms and so on. So that also led to the reduction in the volume of food that we are producing today. Yes. All of them agree they on the ball.
Yes, we'll get to talk about security. I was wondering if you would, share some more information and insights really about the commodity board that the federal government established to manage soaring prices to ensure that there is some level of stability in the market.
Well, that's still kind of a future plan to set up. I remember it's part of our manifesto, the APC, that we have commodity boards to offer. We used to have them in the past to offer farmers good prices for their products so that they will not harvest and then make losses and so on, to assure them of good prices. The VP spoke about it, and it's still something that the government wants to do. It's just one of the plans of this government to ensure that the farming population, the farmers, get due reward for all their labor. That is, I say, it's in the works. It's not taken up yet. But what is important now is what the government is concerned about, the need for also to ensure that many of our farmers go back to the farm to plow, to produce crops and the food that all of us in Nigeria eat. And that's the central to what today's meeting is all about.
Yes, indeed. That's very critical. Let's talk about the issue of state police. It's about, perhaps the first time really that a sitting president would speak expressly, supporting governors to constitute bodies to look into this matter. What is your take on that, and how effective would it be in helping to restore normalcy and helping our farmers really get back to their farms to produce what Nigerians can consume?
Well, I said the central point that came out of the discussion with the governors is that in many states, a state like Jigawa, like, of course, Borno State, Plateau State, Ekiti State, those governors who spoke, all of them expressed concern that farmers don't want to go to the farm because of insecurity problem. It was central, very central. And the president then suggested that it's time for us to have a state police. This, of course, this has been his own pet idea. He's been talking about it for decades, that the central police alone can no longer be relied upon to police this vast country. There is need for us to have state police. But it's not just state police that the president and the governor spoke about. The president also spoke about the need to strengthen, not just strengthen numerically alone, but also by way of arms, those they call forest rangers. The president himself has been speaking about the need for forest guard, but the forest ranger will play the same role that the forest guard will play. Those people who are kidnapping our people, those bandits who are doing so after performing their heinous acts, the place they go to is to hide in the bush, in the forest. So that's why the forest guard or the forest rangers are very, very important, so that we can solve this problem once and for all. If you have the state police, if you have the forest guard or forest rangers, I'm sure there'll be a lot of sanity all over the country. People can travel around the country without having fear of somebody ambushing them or attacking them. Farmers can go peacefully to their farm plow and then expect to harvest. So that is what happened today.
All right, so in the days ahead, we expect to see action on these directives and resolutions reached at the meeting. Bayo Onanuga is Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy. Thank you for talking to us on TVC News at 7.
It's my pleasure to be on the program. Thank you very much.
President Bola Tinubu is expected to depart Abuja later today for Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to participate in the 37th